You triple-checked your luggage, double-checked you had your passport in hand, and arrived at the airport 2 hours ahead of schedule, just like a veteran traveler. Then, things begin to go awry. Your single ticket silently sets off an extra charge that wasn't mentioned anywhere. TSA alerts your power bank. A security officer suddenly demands to know what type of plastic your shampoo container is made out of. And all this before you remove your shoes. Welcome to flying in 2025. Airports worldwide have introduced new technologies, policies, and regulations aimed at streamlining the flying experience. But in practice, they're making routine trips messy, pricey guessing games. The systems are quicker, the scanners smarter. But if you're not ready, a small detail can hold you up, prevent you from boarding, or charge you extra money for something that once was no big deal. In this video, we're dissecting the biggest airport updates you need to know in 2025. What's new? What's catching travelers off guard? And most importantly, what you can do today to get ahead of the madness. Because this year, even something as basic as flying solo could come with hidden baggage. You booked a weekend alone for yourself, no group text, no +1, just you, a carry-on, and a window seat waiting for you. Then you see the cost. And wait, why is the same flight cheaper if you book 2 of you? That's what Delta customers began to see earlier this year. A one-way ticket appeared for $199 when flying alone, but just $118 a person when booked for 2. No promo code, no deal sign, just a subtle price reduction for the number of passengers. This, according to reports, was attributed to a accompanied travel pricing system. In simple words, you paid extra if you booked individually. And this is the weird thing. Regardless of the fact that the other passenger might not be seated beside you, you could still manage to get around the extra fee by booking together. That means you were charged more for traveling solo. No surprise then that the blowback was swift. Frequent flyers, particularly solo and older travelers, accused it of being tone-deaf and unfair. Delta made no official announcement, no press release. They simply dropped it quietly. Don't get too comfortable, though. United and American Airlines have been rolling out the same pricing models under alternative names, according to reports. So, while Delta's iteration might be kaput, the concept isn't. Solo flying in 2025 is still completely worth it. Just double-check the price before you click book. Rapid question: are you typically a solo flyer or not? Leave your response in the comments. I'm really wondering how many of us may have inadvertently paid that secret solo fee. Now, recall when power banks were your travel companion's lifesaver? Passively sitting in your bag, just waiting to save your phone when the seatback charger died on you? Not anymore. Following a power bank ban in midair earlier this year on a South Korean plane after one suddenly caught fire, airlines worldwide started changing their guidelines. In the United States, the first major airline to act was Southwest. As of May 2025, they've prohibited passengers from charging power banks kept in overhead compartments. Want to charge in flight? Both your device and charger need to remain visible at all times on your tray table, in your hand, or in the seat back pocket. If you do put it out of sight, the crew can ask you to remove or move it. Why the strict rule? Safety and speed. If a power bank starts to overheat, the flight crew needs to be able to see it and act immediately. Seconds count when you're cruising at 35,000 feet. And don't think your brand is exempt. Even Anchor, one of the most respected brands in charging technology, had to recall more than 1 million units of its PowerCore 1000-inch June. The risk of fire wasn't theoretical. It was real. It was actually real. So, here's your move. If you're carrying a power bank, stash it in your personal item in front of your seat under the seat, not in the overhead bin. And never, ever check it in your luggage. That's already banned. Also, don't think twice about throwing out that no-name battery pack you bought at a gas station years ago. If big brands are recalling them, the no-brand ones are essentially time bombs with USB outlets. Not worth the gamble. Double-check your airline's policy as well. In 2025, the regulations don't just differ between airlines. They can even be different based on the flight path. The last thing you want is to discover halfway in the air that your charger is forbidden by law. Picture getting an emergency landing in Nebraska because your power bank couldn't cope with a little bit of turbulence. Now, let's discuss another technology trend that could catch you off guard. Smart bags, electric scooters, Bluetooth backpacks. They may seem like smart additions to your travel gear, but in 2025, they could be the cause for ejection at the gate. Here's what's new. If your phone has a non-removable lithium battery, it's technically a problem. Doesn't matter if it's turned off, doesn't matter if you promise not to use it. If TSA or airline personnel can't verify that the battery can be removed, that device isn't flying on the plane or even in the cargo hold. Exactly. If it can't be brought aboard and it can't be checked, it's not flying, period. Why? Because lithium batteries, particularly big ones, can get too hot. And if that occurs in flight, particularly in the cargo hold where nobody can reach it, it is an actual safety risk. Airlines are not going to take that level of risk. Even the smaller smart devices are more closely scrutinized these days. Backpacks with integrated charging ports, suitcases that contain hidden Bluetooth tracking devices. If the battery isn't clearly marked or quickly removable, anticipate additional questioning at security checkpoints. Now, if your phone does have an exchangeable battery, there is hope, but it must fulfill some requirements. The battery should be stored in your carry-on, not in your checked luggage. It should be covered, terminals masked, ideally stored in a fireproof container and accessible to produce at short notice if requested. And here's a figure you must memorize: 160 watt-hours. If your battery is bigger than that, no matter how removable or shielded it may be, it's not permitted. No carry-on, no checked bag, no exceptions. So, what should you do? Before going to the airport, read the watt-hour rating on your equipment. Can you remove the battery? Is it marked? If not, your best bet may be to send it ahead as cargo. Because when you find yourself standing at the gate, there's no time to try to negotiate with a flight crew that has an eye on the clock. Now, imagine this. You're breezing through airport security. Your laptop stays in your bag. No need to pull out your liquids. No fumbling with tangled cords. It feels almost futuristic. That's because at Kind of Island, in 2025, increasing numbers of U.S. airports are introducing high-tech CT scanners driven by artificial intelligence. Sounds like a fantasy on the surface. The machines provide 3D imaging, employ machine learning to spot threats, and minimize human checks. In theory, you simply place your bag on the belt and stroll through. The scanner does the rest. But here's what they don't promote on the welcome screen. AI doesn't miss much, and it certainly doesn't let the little things go. That bottle of lotion you've traveled with 10 times before? Suddenly flagged. The protein bar in your carry-on? Under review. One traveler even had their shoes pulled for extra screening, not because of metal, but because the scanner didn't like how thick the soles were. Turns out the AI detected something odd inside the foam midsoles. Was it dangerous? Number? Was it enough to trigger a manual search? Absolutely. The technology is astounding. But most importantly, airport screening has become noticeably tighter and much more extensive than the outdated system ever was. Items that used to breeze through security without a second glance are now being flagged left and right. The smarter the scanners become, the more precise and picky they are. That means more surprise delays, even over things you've flown with dozens of times before. What makes it worse? The new tech isn't everywhere just yet. At some terminals, you'll zip through in minutes thanks to advanced AI screening. At others, it's back to the old routine. Laptop out, liquids in a plastic bag, belt off, arms up. So the exact same item could pass in one terminal and get flagged in another. It's like playing airport roulette with artificial intelligence calling the shots. Yes, the new systems are quicker. Yes, they're wiser. But in 2025, that also translates to your packing game needing to be more sassy than ever. Because nowadays, getting through security isn't so much about playing by the book, it's about outsmarting the algorithm, quietly judging every zipper, every charger, and every granola bar you pack. Now imagine this. You're waiting at the gate, phone held in hand, noise, canceling headsets in, all quiet, possibly even too quiet. Then you look up, and the gate is deserted. Your flight? Nowhere to be seen. No last call to board, no warning, no last-minute PA announcement. Just nothing, and an impassable boarding door. That's not a technology glitch. That's 2025. More and more airports across the globe are going quiet. abandoning the old loudspeaker announcements in favor of digital-only alerts. Airports such as Zurich, Helsinki, Kuala Lumpur, and now some in the United States are going about this silent revolution quietly. And yes, individuals are missing flights because of it. In May, a tourist in Zurich missed her Rome flight while sitting within a few feet of the gate. She had notifications disabled, never glanced at the screen, and didn't catch a single boarding announcement because there wasn't any. These silent terminal policies are meant to reduce noise and create a calmer travel experience. But unless you're glued to your phone or checking the screen every few minutes, you're flying blind. This shift hits certain travelers the hardest. Older adults, families with kids, anyone unfamiliar with the airport layout. One missed alert, and your whole trip can fall apart. So what can you do? Get your airline's app. Turn on push notifications. Scour the departure board like your flight is on the line because at Island, in a quiet terminal, nobody's going to come looking for you. If you get to the wrong gate, that's your problem. No rebooking, no regrets. Just a long, lonely trek to the customer service counter. Now, let's discuss something that's got a lot of people surprised: Real ID. It's been 2 months since the Real ID mandate went into effect, but day in and day out, folks are still getting caught off guard at the TSA checkpoint. They arrive as if it's just a regular flight ticket in pocket, bags packed, ordinary driver's license at the ready, only to be sent on their way before they ever get to the scanners. No gold star, no passport, no flying today. Missing a flight is bad, but the confusion makes it worse. One moment you're in line like everyone else, and the next you're pulled aside, answering questions, watching the clock tick down. Some people never even make it to their gate, not because they broke the rules, but because no one told them that their regular ID doesn't qualify anymore. Here's the deal. Real ID is not voluntary. It's now federal law. If your license isn't up to the new standards, usually indicated by a gold star in the upper corner, it's no longer valid ID for domestic air travel, and TSA is finished offering grace periods. There are no more extensions, no exceptions. No, they can't just let it slide. The rule is straightforward. No compliant ID, no domestic flight. Of course, you can use a passport if you've got one. Many TSA officials prefer it anyway. Passports are faster to scan and less likely to give them problems. But let's be realistic. Not everybody packs their passport for a domestic voyage. And for millions of Americans, their driver's license is still the default travel ID. Here's the catch. Your ID may look fine, but unless it has been upgraded to meet Real ID standards, you're not getting through security. And besides, if you have appointments waiting at your local DMV for weeks, especially, as one may note, in states like New York and California, not every upgrade can wait. TSA officers are already ringing the alarm bell. They're experiencing increased bottlenecks, longer lines, more agitated passengers, and flight mishaps, all because travelers didn't know their basic ID is no longer acceptable. If you haven't checked your license recently, now's the time. That little gold star is important. Don't be the one waiting in line, suitcase rolling, as they watch their flight depart, all because your card wasn't the correct type of card. Now let's discuss something which is finally working in travelers' interests: refunds. For years, getting money back from an airline felt impossible. Delays, lost luggage, missing seat perks, you'd file a claim and hope for the best. It was like trying to return socks to a vending machine, confusing and often pointless. But in late 2024, the U.S. Department of Transportation stepped in. And now, everything's changed. If your domestic flight is canceled or delayed by over 3 hours, or your overseas flight by over 6, you're entitled to an automatic full refund. No pleading, no chasing reps. A straight refund to your credit card within 7 days. If you paid cash or with miles, you'll receive your money within 20 days. Did your luggage arrive late? Did your paid seat upgrade or Wi-Fi ever function? Same scenario. The airline must refund you. It's not a favor. It's the law. And here's a huge one. If you get bumped from a flight due to them having oversold it, you might be eligible to receive up to $2,150 in cash, not a voucher, not a travel credit with small print. Real money, depending on how late you're getting into your destination. Even customer service is being revamped. If an airline has planes with 30 seats or more, they're being forced to provide 24/7 access to an actual human through phone call, chat, or message. No more sitting through hours on hold to just speak to someone within business hours. There are also new rights to protections over tarmac delays. Stranded on the tarmac for over 2 hours, you're entitled by law to food and water. Wait 3 hours, and unless there's a direct safety reason, you have to be let off the plane. And if your checked luggage is lost or damaged, you can now be reimbursed up to $4,700. And if it's a mobility aid, such as a wheelchair, there's no limit whatsoever. These protections cover any flight that lands on U.S. soil, domestic or international. So if an airline attempts to delay, deny, or deflect your claim, don't guess, file it. In 2025, your passenger rights aren't recommendations. They're federally mandated. So yes, going solo may have hidden expenses. Your power bank could get flagged, and even your bottle of lotion must comply with environmental and safety regulations. But the good news is this: now you know. You're walking into the airport with more savvy, improved preparation, and a much lower likelihood of getting surprised by a scanner, a gate agent, or a quiet terminal. If this video prevented a travel meltdown, taught you something new, or saved you from wasting time, money, or your mind, hit that like button, share it with your travel partner, and subscribe for more noble tips from the skies. And hey, what's the strangest airport surprise you've ever experienced? Share it in the comments. I want the horror stories. See you in the next one, and hopefully next time with a charger that's actually TSA approved.